Hello, hello there, audience. Welcome to my throne once again. Hope you had a good weekend. All is chill. And as always, I'm going to share some nuggets of good shit. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is something that is very actual to each one of us in this life, like what is happening like right now. And in the future, I want to talk about the calendar, the real calendar that is natural, and then the corrupt calendar, which is called Gregorian calendar, which we use, which is not natural at all. And it's a fascinating stuff. Old ancient civilizations used to live by this calendar that is natural. It's fascinating. It's a real deal. And right now the calendar is designed to be like not natural, so it has a little bit of like an offset. So you always feel like the next moment is going to be it, because it's made for slavery. It's or workforce, if you don't like that word, because to me, like, how do you define slavery? I think if you don't have any freedom and all your thought and all your energy is consumed by the work that you're not really enjoying, you are a slave. I'm sorry, it's just not nothing changed. If we used to have like, well, when I say I mean United States had the real slavery. The real slavery. What is the real slavery? Well, when people don't get paid for work, but they are receiving food and shelter. So if you're receiving food and shelter, and that's pretty much it, definition is the same. Why nobody's outraged about this reality? Well, I am outraged. Look how angry I am. So that gets me to the concept of freedom. And freedom is not an anarchy. Freedom is not complete chaos, because it's been tried before, like in the 60s and 70s, and it was not sustainable. Because it does need some sort of structure, it does need some sort of order, but that order has to be natural. That order has to be natural. It cannot be corrupt order, which we live under. So it doesn't matter, for example, if you, in the spirituality, everybody's looking for something that what they already are. I don't know, but they think that it's gonna get something, and they never get it. But okay, they're on the same wheel, same hamster wheel as somebody's working from 9 to 5 and not really having their own freedom. Same thing. They don't have their freedom either, because they're spiritual and they have to find something, Eventually they're going to find it. So they miss everything. I don't consider one side of life, and I don't consider another side of life. This is not life. As far as I'm concerned, people hasn't been born yet. The soul hasn't been born yet. Look, the universe agrees with me. So when do we get off this wheel? And I have to say that the first thing to do is not necessarily blame the structure, even though the structure is to blame externally. Like, you could be very peaceful in a very amazing mood, but yet you still live under this structure that will one way or another will try to take your time, will try to take your energy, will try to distract you, and probably will succeed. And And then rather than focusing what you really want to do, now you're dealing with fucking phone calls on the bank, for 4 hours or whatever. Like, it's designed to fuck you up like that. So yeah, so we have to understand that there's double-edged sword, so to speak, because one is internally, right? Internally, you have to create your own boundaries of reality and cancel whatever it's not acceptable for you, rather than being engaged in it and trying to fix it. Just cancel it completely. So the first order of business is to cancel intrusion of your own thought into the matters of the heart, meaning that the mind is trying to make you feel good. It never does. Mind cannot make you feel good. When the mind is, then the good feelings happen. Feelings happen. And if you have bottled something up, that will go. And then you'll find, after that, it's just a normal tone of feeling good. And that's the first order of business. Then, once you're there, you kind of see the effects, the contrast that is happening. You start seeing like, oh shit, the advertising, the word advert, it's like an adverse reaction. It's to take your attention away from your path of what you want to do and distract you. And without going too much into the details, advertising has definition of evil, because it doesn't put the best product for the best price for the best person. It actually does the opposite. So it's not good for the consumer at all, and also manipulates your perception. So you use something that you believe is good for you when it's not, and whatever. I don't want to go into this too much, but I'm saying as an example, advert is to divert your attention. And that's why you should cancel all the advertising. I mean, all of them. Do not tolerate not single one, because they're programming your mind and stuff like that. Cancel all advertising ruthlessly. Then you will be able to, you will go through life, and there's going to be a certain need, but because it comes from spontaneous, it's like, oh shit, I need this. Then you go looking for it, and then you can find it without advertising, without anything. You can find the best product for you, because you're the one who's doing the search and discerning of what is good for you, without listening to advertising, as an example. The same thing then goes for canceling the media. Of course, like the way the Instagram and Facebook is built is not built, again, not that social networks are bad. It's the social networks that are owned by corporations are bad, because there's conflict of interest. They want to use you, manipulate you, and divert your attention to where they want to make the buck, because that's what the machine does. But the social network that doesn't have a corporation, like for example, we use YouTube right now. The Odyssey.com is a version of YouTube that doesn't have that. No corporations. It's person to person. So it doesn't have that incentive to fuck you over. And it doesn't have that incentive to manipulate you as well. Like that addiction shit that you have. Like, it's all the incentives to create the most addictive content with the minimum substance, maximum addiction. And then you find yourself scrolling, and then after some time you're like, what the fuck am I doing? What did I get from this shit? Like it's fucking with your mind. Cancel that motherfucker. Cancel. Use it we're supposed to. Like just speak with friends, and rather than if you have something to share, why not share directly to the person that is actual? Like, so you might as well have a conversation about it, and stuff like that. So more like a personal type of share rather than broadcasting. I'm broadcasting right now, but inviting everybody to share personally. Be more connected like that, because the social networks that are corporate driven, they are actually disconnecting people. it's an illusion of connection, because now you see what I'm saying, right? Like you watch somebody, you don't even know anything about the person, and then you watch, what the fuck, um, as if it's, and then your mind is like, what the fuck is happening? It's like, is this person, you know, in my tribe, in my group? Like, why am I watching this person? So anyway, and you start canceling stuff, like I don't have any ads, like right now I use Instagram and Facebook because a lot of my friends use that, but my plan is gradually to move on to the platforms that don't have corporations, and invite people over there. If they want to watch my content and talk to me, I'm going to be there, and then slowly I'll be canceling and Instagram and canceling Facebook, because I'll be able to replace it. I don't know, maybe I'll give it like a year time, or maybe 6 months, where I'm just having, once I have all my friends and all my people that want to, you know, be in contact with me over there, I don't really need that crap. Boom, cancel. But of course, I'm not being that drastic. I'm allowing that. But of course, I'm using, for example, there's no notifications on my phone. Instagram and Facebook does not notify me. When I check it, it doesn't check me. And you have to start building these boundaries, around you, and gain your own awareness back. Start canceling bullshit that doesn't serve you in your immediate experience, because you are the authority. You think that, like, oh, they're canceling something, they're an authority. They cannot cancel shit, man. They're not an authority. You're the authority of your own reality. Because if you say, like, fuck this, you don't belong in my reality, and guess what? They don't. And then you have your own bubble, which is way more important, because now if you have your own bubble and you're happy, and let's say Facebook does not exist in your reality, but you're happy, other people are going to join you on that same reality, and Facebook's going to be pushed off into something that only slaves and NPCs and AI uses, with no life. There's already almost no life. You see me talking, but how many people are actually like that talking to you? I don't want to make many money out of you. I'm just talking because I've enjoyed talking, and I don't know. It's just like maybe affection, and just like I just don't like to see people suffer for no reason. Honestly, I don't want myself to be in a situation where I suffer for no reason, and I don't want to see other people suffer for no reason. I know that obviously, if there's a lot of people in the world, apparently, so they say. But if one person starts moving on a different path in their life, and end up playing this game in the right way, right? Not succumbing to the influence of these corporations, governments, and banks, and all that stuff, and gaining your own independence. That's a success to me, So yeah, after you start being a boss of your own reality, and what comes in and what doesn't, like even with the people, like what kind of parameters of interaction with other people, and reciprocation, right? It always has to be reciprocated, whether it's emotionally, energetically, physically, whatever. There has to be reciprocation. And if you see that there isn't reciprocation, then it doesn't serve you. Like, that's gonna just use your energy, your time. It's just not gonna help you at all in any kind of way. And the person, technically the person who's taking your time and energy doesn't give you anything back. They don't really, in the end, win either, because all of that tumbles down in the end, because they cut themselves off from the people who were giving. So then they end up having nothing, and addiction to something. horrible place to be. So that's why, but in that horrible place to be, there's a chance of waking up a little bit and changing your ways. But so yeah, externally. And then you start canceling stuff like governments too. You see, like, what the fuck, like, they take way too much authority over things, and you say, well, like, I'm gonna cancel government. To me, government has to be like a protectorate, and it has to be like a system of registry. Make sure things are fine with the with roads, with buildings, codes, all that stuff is great. That's not a problem. But everything else, like with programming and and telling people what to do and what they can do, and creating the systems of taxation, which is just theft, because it doesn't really help economy. I don't want to go into this detail, but it's like, what I'm trying to say is, to living under corrupt system, you cannot be free. You have to build your own structure where you can feel free. And everything is so kind of obvious but weird. I see people still say, like, oh, I want to go and maybe study in a university and maybe get a degree. It's like, what the hell are you talking about, man? There's no, it's like, where is it gonna take you? Into the shit machine? Is this the path that you want to take? After thousands of dollars in debt, now you're trying to get out of this, and the job that you were preparing yourself for doesn't exist anymore. And what value does that job create anyway? No value. It's you're just belonging to the same industry of crap that is just coping industry. Industries of pain, as they call it. And yeah, just, you cannot think the same way anymore. Like I said, you don't want to build an open restaurant in Titanic, do you? I mean, that's just not good investment, period. And when you see that you are in a Titanic, get the fuck out of the Titanic. Like, to me right now, I don't consider, if business is not sustainable and independent, you don't have business in 10 years. I'm telling you right now. If you have a supply chain that depends on China, on all other things, and if it has dependency on banks, if it has you don't have business. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but the only business that's going to remain, and by the way, those businesses that will remain will be few, and they will be able to charge crazy amounts of money just for food, furniture, whatever, because there's not going to be any other supply, because it's going to be collapsed. And they're going to try to patch it, but you can't patch it, man. They're just blowing up this balloon, and the balloon starts leaking, so they try to patch it, but eventually it's gonna go poof. And then you don't want to get caught with your pants down, do you? You don't want to get caught like in the middle of trying to finish your degree, when you need to think about where are you going to live, where your food is gonna come from, where your water is gonna come from. You don't want to, because it's not going to come from the corporations, I'll tell you that, or the government. They're running everything into the ground. They have no authority over your reality, and you can't do whatever you want. I mean, for the same amount of work that you do, and the same amount of money that you spend, you can just rearrange your life and can have like a permaculture house, sustainable living. I mean, how much work do you spend on the computer doing something for somebody that doesn't really matter? And how much work do you need to do on the garden to have all your food? You know, I'm not even saying that you have to do it. Like you can find a way for somebody else to do it and maybe rent something out, or you know, there's all sorts of ways. But I'm just saying, same amount of energy, actually way less energy, way better lifestyle. And I like to call it holistic society. It's like a type of protectorate that protects the freedom of life. So yeah, you see, like there's the programming, the internal programming that you have to dismantle, and then your life situation that you have to also rearrange as well. And this is time to do it. So if you're gonna wait, not fun at all. All right, look at this. The rain gets the sign to finish.